Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Bennett Cameron. I teach at the University of Texas at Arlington, and this is Bassoonists Talk, and I'm here with my brilliant colleague.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cayla Bellamy, and I'm just starting my first year at Colorado State University. So I'm
Yay!
going to talk with you today about getting the setup through GarageBand as a separate way of processing your audio for virtual lessons and hopefully some collaboration down the line. So Laura here has all of her equipment, but none of it plugged in, correct?
That is correct. So
Awesome.
what I have today is my good old trusty, probably 8-year-old Zoom H4n, and I have a cable that is a micro USB to full-size USB, and that is all I have, and I think that's all I'm going to need.
And what are you transmitting on? Are you on a laptop? Are you on?
I'm transmitting on a MacBook Pro.
Okay. So the walkthrough that is in the other video that we'll post for this, that has the kind of microphone comparison as well as what you'll hear today, is only with USB microphones. So you've got a Zoom one. Let's see if I can do this without unplugging everything. I have a blue Snowball external USB microphone that I've got sitting several feet away from me, so hopefully you're not getting too much of my exceptionally brilliant diction at this hour of the morning. So we're only showing you walkthroughs for relatively low cost point USB plug-in microphones, so no interface, and everything's through a laptop. We just both happen to be on Apple products, so this is all a walkthrough for how to do this in Apple.
Yeah, and we have Professor Gabriel Beavers to thank for this. He did a really great full session with us that hopefully you have already seen about ways to use technology you already have, hopefully, and other technology that you might be able to purchase. And it's really great stuff, and it's going to really impact the way you teach and learn via Zoom.
Yeah, and we'll post shortly following this a handout, a walkthrough of each of these steps, a combination of our previous interview, and then also there was an article on Medium that walks through how to do this as well that I ended up trying to follow and it didn't work, but I sort of had to hack around and found something that worked otherwise. So what we'll start with is your normal, you can go ahead and just plug in the Zoom external microphone as you're used to doing.
So what I had to do was I had to go into Zoom and select USB audio interface when I'm connecting to a PC. It doesn't ask me any questions, or it just pops up and asks, do you want to use as a USB mic? And you say yes. To connect to my Apple, I had to run through a few settings on the Zoom and on the Mac.
Okay. So when you're going to set up your external microphone, if you're using something like this blue Snowball, it plugs in the drivers that since it's only usable as a USB microphone. There's no selection that you have to do. When you have something like the H4n that you've got, it's a multifunction recorder. When it's not plugged in, you use that just to record your lessons and record your practice sessions, right?
Right.
So when you plug it into your computer, what did you have to do to have that recognized as a microphone and not a recorder?
So what I had to do is I went into mode in the Zoom first, and I selected USB audio interface, and I went forward with that, and it's showing me a very simplified screen. There's not much going on there, it just gives me the levels, so that's super helpful. And then on my computer, I had to go into System Preferences. Again, this is on a Mac. I clicked on Sound, then go over to the Input tab, which is the one on the far right, and I selected H4n. Then I closed out of Sound, then I went into Zoom, and then I had to manually switch my microphone over to the H4n.
So that was
now it's working beautifully.
Those options, yeah. Microphone icon. Then now the Zoom.
Yes.
This might be a little bit confusing because your microphone is called a Zoom, and we are also on the platform Zoom. So we'll try to differentiate as we go through this. So all of that microphone was with the microphone Zoom. It was not with the platform Zoom. Cool. So I have dropped in the chat now a link that is also going to be on the document that we'll upload to you that I pulled from that Medium article. It's a link to code on GitHub, which is just It's like a Wikipedia of computer programmers. So it's a bunch of free code, largely free code. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to code for something called BlackHole, which is a virtual audio device. And essentially what that does is enables your computer and the microphone in Zoom to all speak the same language. So it's sort of a translator for everything.
Awesome.
So this is where I made my first critical error when I was following the article. There, if you're looking at this page now, would you mind sharing your screen, actually, so we can see what that looks like? Mine looks like this. And so this is where I made my first error, that you can see where there's an option for go to file, and there's an option for code. The green one, green means go. That's what you want to do, is click on download file, not go to file. If you go to file, it looks like this, which is, to my non-computer programming eyes, utterly terrifying. And I got sucked into a little bit of a hole the first time I did that. So you want to go to download code. And for yours, it looked like it was right that I'll let you reshare so we can see what's going on. It looked like with yours, it was right at the top.
Yep. I mean, I had to scroll past like the, you know, asking for what is this and all that stuff. But here it is. Download installer. I'm assuming that's the thing.
Installer. Yep.
Let's rock and roll.
Cool. So the installation is successful. So now go to your spotlight up in the top corner, and just like we'd done before, you type in MIDI. There's a little icon of a yep, that guy. Open that guy. And now you have this fancy new little thing that says BlackHole 16
Ooh.
on the side. That's actually
Okay.
not what you'll use.
Just
It's only that's only an output, right? You have to choose between input output, and there's all sorts of like 16 channel situation here. So what you actually want to do in order to be able to get your information from the microphone, and it goes through GarageBand and out through this BlackHole, is go down to the little plus sign at the bottom. And this is different than the article. The article suggests that you do the create multi-output device. That didn't work for me, so I created aggregate device. There you go. And now you want to select your H4, which is the microphone that you're using, under the in function. See how one says 2 out and one says 2 in?
So this guy.
Yep. So you're selecting that as your input, and then select BlackHole 16 as a 16 channel. You also, on the same panel. Yep,
Thank you.
select that, and then on the option for BlackHole, put drift correction.
Where is that?
So you see in, out, drift correction as the column.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Yep. And so now that is set up to go into GarageBand. So the walkthrough this.
Okay.
Now that you've done
So
that,
I can close this out now?
you close that out now, and you can open GarageBand. This is where the rubber will really meet the road, because I feel like everybody's GarageBand has a different startup screen.
I'm excited to see what mine is. And then while that's loading, would you tell me how much of that I need to repeat when I'm just wanting to teach a Zoom lesson?
None.
Super.
So once you have done this, it's already set up. I was not positive that was going to be the answer until I logged on today, having tested it yesterday, and all of my settings were still good to go.
Hooray. Okay, what's next?
So now click on Empty Project. And to my understanding, you should be able to just have once this is your setup, you could run all of your lessons under the same project, unless you wanted to export individual audio straight from GarageBand. If you're recording the Zoom session, then you wouldn't need to double export. But if you just wanted to export the audio file and you forgot to click record on Zoom or something like that, then you could do separate files.
Okay.
So you're already...
So
Yep, the first option that's selected there is correct. The record using a microphone or line. Wait, don't click right yet. Under My Instrument is Connected With, click on the little gray arrow next to that, and select Aggregate Device for both of those input and output. So what this is doing is, you can select Aggregate Device because your input is sort of like an extra daisy chain. You put the microphone into that aggregate device, your Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to receive from that microphone, and then the output will put it out through the audio interface, that BlackHole that you downloaded.
Awesome.
I checked enable audio units. That won't make a huge difference if you're just doing the audio quality, but if you're doing anything like multi-track recording, or if you want to be able to adjust EQs or anything like that, the audio plug units are all like the extra toys.
Okay, cool.
You can use. So I went ahead and checked it just so it's ready to go. So that's good to go.
Awesome.
Close out of that. And now you can click create.
Hooray.
Excellent. So now if you go up to track at the top, and then down to configure track header, and then click on record enable. That allows you just to record the audio. For a while, when I was testing this, I thought it had to be recording in order for the microphone to be exporting. I'm not entirely sure if that is or not. So I just have it recording just for giggles right now, I think. Okay. So cool. Mine's been recording this whole time that we're talking, so I have a lovely audio.
Oh, fun.
So if you go, yep. Now you're set for that. If you want to go ahead and click record as if you're recording a new track. Cool. It should be, yep, you're receiving audio. If you speak or make some sound, does that register anything on there?
Hello.
Cool. So you're getting sound.
Test. Awesome, yeah.
Once we get that exported into Zoom, we'll be able to see if you want to adjust the volume. But should you want to, the little dial will input your left and right channels. It'll input out or change your volume. The big blue box down in the bottom there, that compressor, EQ, sends, all of that are like some of the toys. You can, if you're really into that. So that's the end of the GarageBand part of setup. So now you've got a sound right now that's currently going out into the void. So if you go into your Zoom, and this is where it gets a little tricky because Zoom can't screen share its own interface.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
So now if you go into your audio setup, just like you normally have done to select your microphone, there should be an option under select a microphone now that reads aggregate device.
Cool. So I've clicked the little up arrow next to the mute.
Yep.
Select a microphone, aggregate device. Clicked. What do you hear?
I hear you.
Yay!
So we're not hearing a ton here, but if you listen to the audio, I should have had you play the Zoom right now. I can give you a little quick demo if I have it set up on my end. I haven't played this read today, so we'll see what this sounds like. Oh, I have one on the instrument.
Hooray!
It's like I was ready to play or something. So now that all of these are set up, you can toggle back and forth between them. And it's a little bit easier to hear the difference. Hopefully sounds like a bassoon.
It really does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like very nice, clear, non-laggy bassoon.
Wonderful. We love it.
Yes.
And so if I go in comparison, so that's what mine's set up as aggregate device that's running through GarageBand. I've got all that rolling right now. Just for comparison, if I go, I'm going to turn on just the microphone, my regular Zoom, or the Snowball that I've been using. Can you hear a difference in my voice? No?
Yeah, it's a little just less clear.
A little bit. It's sort of you don't notice it so much, but when I start playing the instrument,
it sounds nice, but not as nice.
That's very kind of you. If I go back to what was on just the computer, let the computer do what it will. Here's the computer microphone.
Yes, I'm hearing a lot of loud silence and less bassoon.
Yeah, and my personal favorite is the long tone that turns into a statue. If you don't have you had that happen before? If you're playing long tones, and you
yes,
little sound, and you're playing a note, and then all of a sudden it's just like somebody staring at you.
Right. It's always exciting.
Yes. So that video, side by side with the handout, will lead you to what I have listed as step 4 on the handout, which is celebrate. And you have an audio export into Zoom that now sounds a little bit less laggy. It doesn't completely take care of a latency issue. So we'll kind of explore that with some other softwares. But so still, simultaneous playing is not a great experience, even with this high quality audio. But I feel like you can hear a lot better articulation, and you can hear a lot of the finesse, the smaller finesse things like vibrato, when vibrato's actually happening and it's being created by the person and it's not just like Zoom having a time.
Yep. I'm excited.
Yay!
Yay! So tell me, so I'm booting up my computer and my setup for a lesson later today. What are all of the steps that I need to go through to enable this?
So to enable, once you have everything already created and set up on the back end, on the day of a lesson, you'll need to open GarageBand and either create an empty project or continue a project that you've started before. So you hit that record. That way you've got the scrolling red. And it should be export, like it saves your export setup.
Okay.
So I closed GarageBand between yesterday and today, and I didn't have to go in and reselect. If you go from an empty project, so if you don't save a project that's like, I think what I'll do is save a type of project that's just called lessons.
Okay.
That has the correct microphone already set up. But if you're starting a brand new project for each student or for each day, then you will have to change the first thing we did, which is I receive my audio from aggregate device, and I hear my instrument from. If you don't like the term aggregate device under your MIDI setup, you can name it something else.
Fair enough. Okay. So just head into GarageBand, use the same project that I used last time, click the red record button, and that's it.
Yep, and then when you open up Zoom, I just double check each time right before the lesson starts when it gives you do you want to test your computer audio, or open up audio settings real quick and make sure that I have the correct microphone set.
Yeah. Okay,
and then
cool.
Just, you can turn on or off original sound. So there's flip back on original sound.
Okay. That is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that was a lot of work for you to kind of put all of this together. So thank you for doing that on the back end. So I mean, selfishly, I could just enjoy having someone walk me through this on my end. So thanks.
I'm glad to do it. It's so